Hello everybody. So I am running outside here real quickly before I take off to work. I'm going to undo our little mini polytunnel system thing that I've got going on here. So for those of you who are wondering what we're doing, this is the brassica bed. That's what I'm calling it right now because that's all that's in there. And I'm covering it up every night, and then in the morning when the sun comes out and it gets warm, I'm just undoing it. So let me put you down here. Okay, so obviously, you know, this is not like a professional polytunnel system or anything. This is mainly just to help us overwinter a lot of the winter hardy vegetables. So we've got things like this beautiful kale, and then trying our hands at some Brussels sprouts. But there's also some turnips, rutabaga, a little bit of bok choy still left in there. So it is, you know, it's not completely sealed by any means, so it's not like a true polytunnel. It's just enough to help keep the really damaging aspects of the frost off the plants so that they can survive the cold in our climate. Okay, so it's official, guys. I just got home. It's been a very long Saturday. I cannot be trusted going into garden centers. I mean, look. I got that, and then this little guy down here, it's a wandering Jew. You probably can't see that. Sorry, lights are off in the house. And I just wanted to record me coming in and dragging in a bunch of plants that I didn't actually need to bring home, but I brought home because I have a thing. Don't judge me, okay? Okay, here it is in a much better lighting situation. Sorry about that, guys. I totally forgot when I walked in the door that I had the lights off, but this is called a wandering Jew. Now, before everybody gets their racist dander up, I'm a Jew and I just called it that. So it's fine. And I actually feel very privileged that there is a plant named a wandering Jew. And it's so beautiful. I mean, look at this. And the leaves, that's what really sold me on it this summer. I had seen this plant this summer at the gardening center here, and I really wanted it then, but I had other plants that I was getting and other things that I was doing, mostly outside. But the texture and the color on this is just, unbelievable. It is a little dry, so I've been obviously putting some water into this guy. But yeah, so this is the new house addition. So much beauty. All right, it's 5 o'clock and I haven't had any tea this afternoon, so it's time for tea. Yeah. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful in here? Oh my gosh. I'm totally going to enjoy this plant. This is one of those plants I could just literally sit here and pet the leaves. They are so soft and supple. It is an amazing plant. Unfortunately, one broke off when I was transplanting it into the pot, but I saved it and I'm going to try and see if I can get it to root. And if so, I'll have another wandering Jew to put here in the house somewhere. You can never have too many plants. There is just no such thing in the world. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, little girl? Can you say hi? You want to say hi? Tell everybody good morning. Yeah? Yes, and as you can see, I don't have this quite finished out yet, but now that it's winter, and obviously not so much is going on with the garden, the bed will be coming out, and all of that will get finished here very soon. So slow but steady wins the race. Okay, so I have a confession to make. I have never actually made sourdough bread before. Now, if you have followed me for any length of time, you have probably seen the bread baking video that I did off of the recipe from Bread Toast Crumbs. And if you're a beginning bread baker, I would definitely recommend investing in that book and getting the recipes, because oh my gosh, that was like the first time that I was able to make really, really good loaves of bread. But in the middle of all the madness that has been happening, of course, there has been an on and off again shortage with yeast. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a problem when you make yeast-based breads. But I have been wanting to experiment with sourdough, and I got the floor pan from King Arthur. So you should go over there and check it out. It's a French sourdough starter, and it's kind of just my foray, bleh, if I can speak right, my foray into learning sourdough. Now, I went on ahead and I went with the floor pan first before investing in a sourdough starter, so that I could just get the hang of baking the bread without having to worry about keeping the starter alive and feeding it and all of that jazz. I wanted to be able to get the hang of baking the bread before I made the investment into a good sourdough starter. And for me personally, that is probably what I will do. You, of course, you can YouTube dozens of videos showing you how to create your own sourdough starter from scratch. For me personally, it's just going to be easier to invest and buy a starter and then go from there. I'm not quite to the point where I want to mess with creating my own. So we're gonna do this today. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to turn out, so this is going to be interesting, and this is gonna be the real life experience that you guys are seeing. So if it fails, you're gonna see it fail. And I hope that at least encourages you to give it a try, even if you do fail, because, I mean, why not? It's 2020, so we'll just chalk it up to 2020 if it turns into a brick, right? Best case scenario, it just looks a little gnarly, but tastes amazing. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, now that I've got the sticky mess of dough done, I am going to go on ahead and start working on these apples. These are Arkansas black apples that we got from an orchard that's fairly local to us. And I am just going on ahead and I am making some applesauce today. Might as well go on ahead and use up all the loveliness and get it preserved for when we aren't going to have apples anymore. And yes, I'm totally doing this the lazy man's way and putting in the skins. Some people don't like to put the skins in, and that's okay. If you don't. I don't actually mind it. But yeah, just don't want to have to mess with completely peeling all of these guys, because I've got about 2 pecks worth that I need to fully process today. And these are Arkansas black apples, like I had said. We had just encountered these about a year ago, and I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but they're this really pretty green, and they're sweet but tart. They're a wonderful apple to put in pies, to make applesauce with. Just about anything you want to add apples to. They've got a nice firm texture. They're not mealy. And they've got a lot of really good flavor. Okay, I feel like this is the moment of truth in comparison to everything else, because we are actually getting to the kneading stage. There's one tool I do not have, but I'm going to cheat and use this guy. And it's just a type of dough spatula. Go. Eight to 10 minutes by hand. Okay. I've got a ways to go, but that is all right. Although it's starting to kind of form up even as we speak. Which is good, I hope. But I don't want a tough bit of bread. Those of you who have done this before know exactly what I'm talking about. coffee. Yeah. It's happening. Because it's needed. Nope. So this was the smallest loaf. Oh, I got a little piece breaking off there, but obviously I've munched on it and it came out better than I thought it was going to come out. I really thought the loaf was going to completely fail on me. I did add in the extra tablespoon of water that they called for the bread for during the winter. I don't think it actually needed that. I think there's still enough moisture in the air here where I'm located that that extra tablespoon was just too much. So it's a little dense, but the flavor's good. It doesn't taste bad. It is edible. So I'm gonna say that this was a good first try for sourdough. So I'm kind of excited to play with it again and get the hang of the recipe. And the other thing that got accomplished, these are just doing a British heat pack method. Instead of water bath canning, you just turn it upside down and allow the heat and the suction to seal the top. So that's what these guys are doing. So this is a half peck worth of apples that has been turned into that applesauce that I was talking about and chopping up and doing yesterday. So these will be good. I'll check the seals, and the thing that you do is you just unscrew here, and if this is loose, which it is not, that's how you know it's sealed. And plus you can usually see like there's a suction. I don't know if that's translating really well on the camera, but there's this little dimple here. That's also a good indicator. So these are going to be completely sealed up and good to go. And just stick those up in the pantry for winter. It's going to be awesome to have this on hand. Okay guys, so that is a wrap for this vlog. Lot going on top of just everyday life. I was so excited and so jazzed to be able to get those apples. It wasn't in the plans initially to be doing applesauce this weekend, but I couldn't believe it. There were apples and I couldn't pass up the Arkansas black apples. So taking advantage of it while I have the opportunity, because winter is coming and fresh fruits and veg in this area kind of just, start to slowly disappear. Drink your water today too, guys. I'm just saying. It's good for you. Stay hydrated, especially in the winter. It's great for your skin, your hair, nails, all that jazz. Okay, so I'm gonna officially sign this vlog off with my usual, keep it simple, natural, and essential. And until next time, I love you.